This is the calm before the sleep. The nightly bedtime story with no real plot and no important characters. All you need to do is find a comfortable position, let your eyes flutter shut, and let yourself drift away into a cozy, sleepy world. Your story begins now. Welcome to the Enchanted Forest. Here you will find all manner of interesting creatures, big and small. Living among the tall grasses are pixies, who are a rather magical people. They are crafty, fidgety, and just have a curiosity to them. If you befriend a pixie, you might just be lucky enough to receive one of their ancient texts. You can use these texts to learn their magical craft. The books that they have include primers on summoning. Here is the layout for the Wyler Summoning series. You will find a quick tutorial on how to cast the final spell. The sample spells cast in this series include the art spell, which is used to do the illustrations in the rest of the spellbooks. The Walia summoning spells are cast using a spell scepter. The Dawn spell, which modifies time, is cast from a spell scepter as well. Not long ago, they were regular creatures, as common as squirrels or butterflies. But as their spells became more valuable, they've taken to roaming the forest, doing their best to stay hidden as they scavenge for supplies and secretly befriend any pleasant creatures that they meet along the way. Another creature in the forest is the fairy. Fairies teach us important lessons. They remind us that we are not the same as we were yesterday, nor will we be the same tomorrow. Each of us is as deserving of compassion, happiness, and relaxation as any who have come before. You may have been taught this before, but you will truly believe it when you are sitting down and drinking ginger tea with a fairy. Enjoy. The last creature you might meet is the dragon. Dragons are incredibly graceful and confident. Dragons teach us about balance and harmony. They help us to recognize ourselves. With them, we find that it is never a mistake to reach for our dreams. While it is true that we do not speak as one, there is an inborn harmony in each of us that is better served when we see all perspectives. With dragons, we can unlock that harmony and see ourselves as we were meant to be. So, treasure these companions of the forest. Jade dragons rule over the tropical forest of Avalon and all its treasures. They are peaceful beings, long used to the isolation and solitude of their woodland homes. The dragons can travel in near silence, and their sense of hearing is acute. These traits would make them ideal for jobs as spies and assassins. However, all the dragons in the Enchanted Forest of Avalon are too preoccupied with eating apples and making friends. Dragons do have a way with animals, and it is not uncommon to see a big flying dragon making conversation with a quail. Jade dragons in particular are very good at keeping the secrets of the forest. They would never divulge any secrets to someone who has not yet proven themselves to the pixies and the fairies. Their beauty and grace are an experience to be witnessed. Dragons are also very witty. The art of humor is something that is often overlooked when talking about jade dragons. Make sure to ask the next jade dragon you meet about the one where a pixie, elf, and butterfly walk into a bar. The forest people live in beautiful harmony with the other animals in the forest. Bears live in peace with mice, wolves live in peace with foxes, birds live in peace with butterflies, fish live in peace with squids, and so on. The variety of creatures that these people come in contact with makes for lively conversation. There are other creatures in the Enchanted Forest of Avalon, but those are creatures who you would probably prefer to meet for yourself. The forest people work together to help each other out. It is as neighborly as it is magical. The music of forests that is produced by each individual is completely dependent on the cooperation of the others around them. This music is called Forest Symphony. Perhaps you are the best wizard in the land of Avalon. Perhaps you can travel to other parts of the Enchanted Forest. Or perhaps your job is harvesting cedar bark, or building tree houses, or creating strange tools for the adventurers in the forest. Whatever your occupation, you can rest assured that you are helping to make the world a better place, no matter where your job takes you. Our job is to preserve and protect these creatures of the Enchanted Forest. As a proud protector, we are able to predict exactly where and when jade dragons and their human friends will appear. Sometimes they are far away, so the adventure is a real surprise. Perhaps you are waiting for your friend, your brother, or your sister to walk in the door. Suddenly, a very large dragon sits down next to you. This may be unexpected, but never fear. These dragons are happy to see you and don't mean to startle you. The humans who are a part of the Enchanted Forest live very comfortably with each other. Not everyone is afraid of the dragons once they really get to know them, and some people would even like to befriend them. The forest people have all kinds of jobs and careers. But many of them are quite simple. In the native forest language, there is no word meaning lazy. In fact, relaxation and meditation are considered very important activities by the creatures of the forest. Whenever someone returns from visiting the Enchanted Forests of Avalon, they typically report feeling calm and at peace. We have a lot to learn from the creatures of the forest. One possible job you can take up if you choose to move to the Enchanted Forest is to be a forager. This job requires you to find a witch or warlock to apprentice for. The witch or warlock will ask you to forage for all the items they need to create their potions. You could be asked to gather elderberry branches or planks of wood from the forest and bring them back to the expert potion maker. Other jobs include piper, explorer, or even storyteller. The options are endless, and you can create your own job if you have any ideas. Though these jobs may sound difficult, most people find that they don't feel as if any time has passed at all. These jobs are all fun and relaxing, and the people you work for understand the importance of a good night's sleep. The friendly witches and warlocks who live in the enchanted forests often give jobs to the people from the villages or towns around him to teach them about the enchanted forest. Not only do the creatures of the enchanted forest live in peace with each other, but they also believe in many different forms of magic. One of the world's oldest magical forms is called forest magic. It originated in the time of the first Jade Dragon. The religion was heavily influenced by forces of nature, and many of the spells and fantasies of the forest creatures have remained. Most people that live in the enchanted forest believe that the fairy culture must have come from another world. The forest people often believe that the fairy culture lives in another realm, and travel to our world on rare occasions. They often tell jokes about how the fairy culture is also fond of pepper, popcorn, and spam. This is actually a popular fairy culture legend. It was a myth for a long time, but it is now believed to have roots in some folktales and legends of ancient fairy realms, which told of a group of friendly creatures that traveled to our world to teach us more about their magical ways. There are also some humans that have made it their home in the enchanted forests. Even though they are new to the area, all of the enchanted forest people are very friendly towards other species. In addition to liking humans, they are especially friendly toward the rabbits, deer, raccoons, and squirrels. These animals are all very important members of the forest's ecosystem, and the enchanted forest creatures love it when they move in. Whenever someone new moves into the enchanted forests of Avalon, all of the woodland folk get together and throw a feast. These feasts have music and many booths for arts and crafts. You can get your face painted with raspberry juice, or learn how to play the drums with a musical elf. At these feasts, you can also join in on a magic competition. There are different types of magic competitions. One type of magic competition is experimental. It is where you and your friends try to figure out what kind of magic you can cast with a feather or a glass of water. The second type of competition is a trivia game. It is where the pixies in the village quiz each other on different enchanted forest topics. Sometimes, a lot of good magic can be learned at these competitions, and it is always a lot of fun. The enchanted forests also have some secret traditions and old customs that have long been forgotten. However, these traditions are still maintained through the stories that the forest creatures tell about the village's forest sprites. The forest sprites are very powerful and friendly. Many of the stories about the forest sprites are meant to teach people about how the village's mystical forces work. They also teach the citizens of the village about the importance of the forest, and how to live in harmony with it. As the village's guardian, it is important to keep the forest protected. The forest sprites, who are the forest spirits, live in the most beautiful of places. They live in flowers, trees, and bridges. Most of the sprites are shy, and not very social. However, every so often, a large group of them will come down from their homes and help to guard the forest. Whenever a festival is held, many of the forest sprites will come out to dance and play music. They will also usually be present during the village's spring celebration when it is time to celebrate the flowering of the forest. There are also many fairies that live in the enchanted forest. Some of them have been here for a long time. There are a few, however, who have come from a faraway land. These fairies have moved to the enchanted forest and have adopted it as their home. Their beautiful and colorful wings, and their magical craft and knowledge, remind us of another world. This world is completely different, and it is where all of the fairy culture's magical inhabitants live. It is also where most of the enchanted forest folks' children have grown up. There is also a very special place in the enchanted forest. It is a very hidden, private place. It is known only to the fairies. No one else is ever allowed to enter this special place unless they go with a fairy. It is called Fairy Grounds. The reason that the Fairy Grounds are a special place is that they are the home to a very special, and very rare, fairy. This fairy has her very own realm. She lives in a magical maze, with all of her own magical creatures. The rest of the enchanted forest dwellers like to tell fables about the maze, but the fairy doesn't mind. She has her very own, very magical, world. The forest sprites and the elves know her as the fairy princess. The Fairy Grounds are a magical place, where many unusual and amazing things happen. If you get to see the Fairy Grounds, make sure you are ready to see things that are beyond your understanding. Though it is difficult to enter the Fairy Grounds, the other parts of the forest are also filled with wonderful things. Some of the more common magical creatures are tree trolls and centaurs. If you go near the waters of the enchanted rivers, you might meet even rarer creatures. A lot of these magical creatures spend a lot of time in the enchanted forest. They like to live in the enchanted forest because they are very comfortable there. The fish elves and flying fish are two of the more common aquatic creatures that you may find. Many other animals live in the Enchanted Forest, but the most common are the bunnies. Many Enchanted Forest elves also like to live in these areas, as they are safe there. The elves love to watch the bunnies go about their day-to-day lives. When you walk around the Enchanted Forests, you might come across tiny dragons. They will often show you all kinds of wonderful secrets, hidden around the trees. Little puffballs like to live in the trees and have their own homes. Some tree elves will even teach you how to speak their language. There is an enchanted elvish building called the Hall of Elvish Friends. Many of the elvish species visit there, as well as some forest sprites. There is a magnificent silver tree with amazing, magical fruit. The fruit is absolutely delicious. The seeds are very hard, but they soften over time. This tree is the reason the creatures in the Enchanted Forest are so strong. It is very difficult, but it is possible to see the top of the tree. It looks like there is a very, very long tunnel, leading to a gigantic, magical light. This is known as the Golden Light. If you see the Golden Light, you will typically have very good luck for the next week. A lot of the forest elves live in the Hall of Elvish Friends. They really love to live in the Enchanted Forest. There are a few giants, too. These are peaceful and slow-moving creatures. The giants tend to stick to the meadows and the open plains, as they like to have bonfires with their friends there. There is also the elder dragon. It lives in a remote place, and is very rare. The elvish red dragon lives at the bottom of a long and very large lake. The dragon is a magical creature, who has powerful spells and a very rare sword. You have to take care when you see the dragon. It is difficult to see it, but if you do, you can ask it for directions. The elvish red dragon has an innate sense of direction. You can learn more about these creatures by visiting the Elvish Bookshop. This bookshop is nestled near the gates of the Enchanted Forest. If you are looking for a good gift, the elves love to make jewelry and pendants. They will make these items with their enchanted tree jewels. Sometimes the enchanted tree jewels are hidden on the pendants, so if you manage to find them, you are very lucky indeed. When wearing elvish jewelry, you will feel a deep sense of peace and relaxation. The elves are very talented at working with these jewels. However, they are very rare. To make enchanted tree jewels, you can't just pluck the tree jewels. They are enchanted with a spell that makes them grow more when they are kept in an enchanting charm. You can learn how to enchant trees by talking to the elves. It is often hard to find the right tree jewels, but the elves know how to do it. If you can speak Elvish, you will be able to speak with the forest elves. However, many of the elves speak some Elvish, but many cannot speak any at all. If you speak with the elves, they will let you know about the Enchanted Forest and the trolls in it. There is a saying that the elves have. The saying goes like this: "We elves are not like other things. We're like the trees. When you walk beneath the trees, you can understand how beautiful we are." This saying shows that the elves are very, very old, and they have been walking beneath the trees for a long time. If you are in the forest, you will often see a sort of wind spirit. This is a very skittish spirit, and should be treated with extreme gentleness. The wind spirit appears at the top of the trees. When the wind spirit is nervous, it starts to breathe deeply to calm itself down, and the leaves on the trees start to rustle. It is easy to see the wind spirit in the forest. It often appears when you are tired or frightened. The wind spirit will help you in a very special way. It can be a little hard to find. When the wind spirit appears, you may feel a deep sense of calmness. The elves love to collect soft things to put in their homes. They will often let you touch the wonderful petals and grasses they collect if you are nice to them. The elves are good at assessing whether a creature has a nice coat of fur. If you have a nice coat of fur, you are very lucky. There are also a lot of magic herbs and plants in the forest. Many of the herbs will heal you or make you very strong. There is a certain pink salve that the warlocks can provide you that has very special properties. If you rub a little bit of the pink salve onto something, then it will be able to fly. This is why witches and warlocks have flying broomsticks. The pink salve is rare, but if you befriend a warlock, then they will give you some. There are other salves and potions throughout the forest that have amazing properties as well. Some of the trees in the forest are enchanted with special spells. The enchanted trees are very rare and beautiful. If you are looking for enchanted trees, you may have trouble finding them. However, when you aren't looking for them, they are likely to come right up to you and make themselves known. If you find yourself with an enchanted animal, you might want to keep it as a pet. However, the elves are very protective of their creatures. They will explain that it is not possible to own an enchanted animal, or keep it as a pet. Rather, you and the animal will be equals. You choose the animal as much as it chooses you. You will need to be nice to your enchanted animal in order for it to be happy. You can help the elves and your enchanted animal by following a very simple rule. If you follow the rule, you will have an enchanted animal for a long time. Once you befriend the elves and your enchanted animal, you may join them in their dances and wanderings. They will be very happy to have someone to travel with. They can travel the forest with you, or you can choose to stay in one spot and follow them. There are certain plants that you will find in forests that have great magic properties. They can either be used as potions, or used to restore your magic ability. Sitting beneath a tree and reading a book is always a good thing. While you are reading, you will be helping the elves and your enchanted animal in their search for food. The more you read, the more food you will find for them. The more food you have, the more wonderful it will be to spend time reading. Making wishes to the forest spirits will allow you to have visions of what lies in the forest. Sometimes the forest spirits will give you visions of entire realms. They may even be able to tell you what has happened in that realm. Sometimes the visions will lead you to some great treasure, or to a very powerful creature. These visions are mysterious, but beneficial. In a forest enchanted with the magic tree of life, you will find things you never dreamed you would. Some plants are poisonous and some are harmless, but the forest spirits will tell you which one is best. The elves will help you to build homes for yourself. The elves prefer small places where you can easily hide away when you are tired of the forest. If you wish, you can make these homes out of the enchanted trees, or you can make your own special structure. There are magical dwellings made of wood, stone, and grass. Sometimes, the dwellings are built right inside of a tree. These trees often look small from the outside, but once you step in, you will be delighted by how enormous they are inside. These tree trunk dwellings have many rooms that are connected by ladders. The bunnies live in harmony with the elves inside these dwellings. The tree trunk homes are usually very short. If you wish, you can always add more rooms to the tree. It is very important to be very careful in a forest enchanted with a powerful spirit tree. Tending to your enchanted animal is a must. If you are careless with your animal, it may run back into the forest, and you will have to find another animal. If you are a tree, the elves will help you to attract large animals to live in your tree. Often, they will even help you to create some food for your animal. If you are a rabbit, you can befriend the forest spirits. They will help you to make your life more magical. The forest spirits may even grant you some small magic items. In return, you have to show them where different treasures are buried underground. If you are a frog, you can make the forest spirits dance for you. The forest spirits are excited to be dancing in your presence. They look forward to dancing for you every day. The forest spirits are very willing to accept any kind of creature, but they have different quests for each animal. If you come across a swamp, the forest spirits may make you more magical by granting you the power to swim in the water. If you are a gnome, you may have to make an alliance with the forest spirits. These alliances will help to keep the forest safe. Even if you do not possess the qualities of a forest spirit, you may still be able to enjoy its benefits. You may find yourself positively enchanted by the Tree of Life. You may wish that you could live within its branches. If that is the case, then you are in luck, as there are many tiny cottages throughout the Tree of Life where you can live. You will be neighbors with the elves and pixies of the tree. They might knock on your door and give you freshly baked plum tarts, or just to sit and chat. The main inhabitants of the tree are the elves. They have lived there for centuries. If you become close friends with your neighbors in the tree, they may want to reward your kindness. They may give you some enchanted clothing to help you to defend yourself in battle. The small creatures may even offer to teach you his or her family secret, and teach you how to control the powers of the tree yourself. Fairy rings are a great way to enhance your enchanted weapons. You may wish to set up a planter outside of your cottage window. This is a wonderful idea. This will provide more fruits to feed the elves, as well as give you a way to grow your own food. All fruits grown on the Tree of Life are imbued with magical properties. In fact, every flower you see in the forest will provide a different benefit to you. If you wish, you can even make a wine from this forest fruit. The creatures in the tree are all friendly. They will help you to climb the tree, and even help to transport you up the trunk. It is a very long climb. There are special climbing ropes made for such a purpose. It is possible to live in the Tree of Life for many years and never even have to leave it. The gnomes of the tree occupy themselves by looking for stray cats in the forest. If you see a gnome, they may invite you to their cottage and help you out with some useful recipes and tell you beautiful stories. The pixies may try to teach you how to sing a beautiful tune. In return for their aid, you will need to help to guide them. Gnomes and pixies have a notoriously bad sense of direction, and they often want to head to the meadows of the west. The tales and prophecies spoken about the meadows of the west have been mistranslated, or may not even be true. There is a tradition of asking the forest spirit for protection, then being offered an enchanted item as thanks. It is a great way to make friends and to create alliances, while staying out of the way of trouble. The forest spirits are as friendly as they are superstitious. One day you may find a small gremlin wandering in the forest. He may have the smell of the sea on him. He may even say the magic words. You may wonder how you know that this gremlin is a sailor. It may come to you in a dream. Your dreams are something that the forest elves know. In a dream, you see things that are not there. This is the magic of the tree. Many things in the forest are not truly there. They are only images or impressions, seen through the eyes of the dreamer. It is possible to enter your dream and affect the things that you see in it. If you are dreaming about a place far away, you can use the tree to tell you to go to the place. In that regard, you can use your dream about the gremlin to help guide him back to his boat. The tree has no beginning or end, but it has many windows. Each window can lead to a new place, or even the same place from different perspectives. It is like looking at a riddle, and trying to figure out how the puzzle pieces fit together. If you can find one small piece of the puzzle, you can transform the vision into a map. The tree can also show you future events, which you can observe before they happen. It may even help you to find a helpful little elf that lives near the top of the tree, who can help you analyze these dreams. The gnomes of the tree are not necessarily nice. Their intentions are good, but they may be trying to steal your shoes, or pluck the fruits from your branches. They might even want to take over your cottage and create a city of little gnomes. You may want to run away from them, but you will be much better suited staying in the tree and befriend the elves nearby. Perhaps your neighborhood elf will also be a sailor, and she may come to your rescue. These unlikely rescuers might also be traveling towards the meadows of the west. Perhaps they will help you reach your dream destination, and be the friends that you have always dreamed of. The elf may also point out some important landmarks for you, like the overgrown garden, that you will have to pass if you are going to the other side of the forest. It would be very difficult to describe the delightful sensation of eating the small berries that grow on the tree. As you climb higher, the fruits and berries growing on the tree change. They are all delicious, and can be used to bake beautiful little cakes or to season your soup. These tiny fruits are delicious, and you will be glad that you picked them. They have a surprisingly strong taste, like lemon-lime sherbet or cotton candy. If you pick them and eat them straight away, the taste fades away within a few minutes. Then for the next few days, everything tastes a little sweeter. The forest sprites know how to make a fine lemon cake or pie. The tree fruits do not have a similar effect, but they are very refreshing and aromatic nonetheless. You can feed the animals that live in the branches of the tree. They like fresh fruit, and the tree spirits like to hear them sing. Some of the fairies living in the branches of the tree might prefer citrus fruits to blueberries and strawberries. It all depends on personal preference. The fairies are all very small. They are green and vibrant, and when you look at him they seem to glow from within. The fairies of the forest are surprisingly friendly and helpful. Although you may be tempted to collect their honey to make some of your own, you will be better off giving them their honey. The elves do not like to be ignored. You can make friends with them by talking to them in their native tongue. They will speak to you in a strange and funny language, like Elfish. If you want to live with the elves, you will need to learn their language, which is full of strange and unusual sounds. If you learn the language, the elves will talk to you in this way, and it will be easy for them to communicate with you. All you need to do is give them a piece of fruit, and they will tell you a funny joke in their native tongue. Your trees house a sea monster that is very friendly. The sea monster normally lives in the river, but the cottage in the tree is his summer home. Most of the time, the sea monster will want to play with you. He will also let you live in the waters where he lives, so it is important to treat him well. The sea monster is like a puppy. If he takes your shoes or your earrings, he will eat them. You should do your best to not cause any problems for him. Although he is a friendly sea creature, he may be hungry, and you should try to give him food as well. The brownies grow in the forests, so there are always a few singing among the trees. They are very noisy, but if you listen carefully you can hear the sound of humans singing too. You can tell whether the singing belongs to a human or a fairy, because the song of a fairy is high and clear, while the song of a human is more low-pitched and fuzzy. The fairies will use this information to tell if you are one of them or not. Although you are new to the forest, the brownies can tell that you are a fairy. The green fairy is another source of mesmerizing secrets. You can find the fairy at the top of a tree. It is important to hide when she appears, because she can be very powerful. If you want to ask for the secrets of the green fairy, you must try to be as polite as possible. The fairy can be quite hard to approach, but if you do your best to not bother her too much, you can be successful in asking her for the secrets of the forest. The forest sprites are rarely around. If you hear one singing in the branches of a tree, it is unlikely that there are many more nearby. However, they can be very helpful when they have something you need. The forest sprites will gather around and tell you the secrets of the forest, but you must not interrupt them when they are speaking to you, or else you may never get your answer. The best time to ask the forest sprites for information is after dusk, when the sprite and the trees are quiet. The wood nymphs are shy and secretive. If you encounter one, he will generally want to hide from you, so make sure that you do not disturb him. The wood nymphs can be very good at making crafts, and it is often not easy to locate their home, since they are far from the treetops and the river. If you are able to find their home, you can expect to find tasty red berries, lovely mosses, and delectable roots. If you are unable to locate the nymphs, you should give them gifts of little rocks, nuts, or flowers, since they are very fond of nature. The shy butterflies are a popular item in the forest. There are many of them, so they can be easily seen. However, you can be sure that they are in their home when the stream glitters more than usual. The glitter can be one of the best ways to know if you are about to cross the bridge between the spirit world and the human world. If you are carrying a special stone in your backpack, you should be able to feel the transition. The shy butterflies can also have a positive effect on the trees, and they can help you to heal them if you help them to understand the life cycle of the forest. The fairies are well known for their singing, and are sometimes the source of more traditional forest legends. They can be friendly to humans, and can tell a fairy tale if you are in the mood. The luchadoras are very curious, and the birds are their friends. If you see the luchadoras singing, you should be very careful not to disturb them, because they are particularly happy during the day. The trolls will often leave a gift of troll gold on their throne. The troll gold is often very valuable, so it is best to keep it safe in a secure container. The muses are usually too polite to bother you, but if you try to speak with them, they will insist on giving you beautiful gifts. The muses like to share their fine jewelry with humans. This jewelry is hand-carved from the wood of the enchanted trees. If you manage to ask the muses for any information, they will be pleased to help you out. If you happen to find the fairies singing, it is a good idea to try to find the other muses to see if they can give you advice. The leaf creatures are very talkative and often follow humans around for a day or two, simply observing with idle curiosity. The leaf creatures will often leave gifts, such as sweet flowers, strange fruits, or natural gems, so be sure to return the favor if you are able. These creatures might try to give you a gift of exotic mushrooms or a plant covered in slime, so it is best to be very careful. If you get one of these gifts, make sure to take it to a wizard to check if it is free of any spells. Sometimes they will leave gifts of delicious black berries, so you can snack on them in the privacy of your tent if you are hungry. If you see the unicorns playing together, you are probably close to home. If you think you have seen one, and do not try to approach them, they may run away. They are herbivores, and can sometimes help you to survive in the forest. They generally do not like to be disturbed, but you can always sit nearby and watch them play. The great owl loves it when you visit him, and will bestow upon you the gift of knowledge. The great owl is not only wise, but humble as well. He has a wise sense of humor, and can tell you all the stories from the past, and if he is in a good mood, he may even tell you stories from the future. There is more than one type of grouse in the forest, and you will often hear the sound of their chicks playing. You should treat them kindly, as they are often very protective of their young. If you see one, give it a good word. If you are able to find the wood sprites, they are likely to be wearing white, silver, or gold clothes, so be sure to be on your best behavior. The griffins are proud, and they can often be very independent. However, if you are alone and you see one, it would be a good idea to try to approach it in a polite manner. If the griffin does not appear friendly, it is best to stay away and simply observe from a distance. The river sprites like to sing in the water, and leave small gifts of beautiful rocks and plants along the bank. Be sure to carry a bunch of water and some food for your trip. The mountain sprites usually like to live in their mountain houses. If you go to visit them, you should always be careful, as mountain sprites are very mischievous. Many of the animals are friendly, and will often come up to you and let you pet them. But if they are naughty and you have food sticking out of your pockets, they might try to steal it. If you see some sparkling fish swimming through the water, it may be worth trying to touch them. The unusual fish may let you communicate with the river sprites. The shy butterflies will often come close to humans. If you get close to them, you may be able to take a picture. It is best not to touch them, as they are wild animals. The beavers are very curious creatures, and will often give you some delicious root vegetables. However, the beavers are very talkative creatures, so it is best to make sure that you have an interesting topic of conversation ready before you approach them. Sometimes the creatures in the Enchanted Forest have strange talents, such as seeing into the future, or creating unusual artifacts. If you are able to use their talent, they may gift you with a magical weapon, or a shiny object. At the entrance to the forest is the Golden Druid, who will bestow upon you the gift of wisdom, or knowledge. There are many trees that hold wild foods, which are rich in nutrients. Many types of forest creatures live in these trees, and the forest is full of good things to eat. The gems in the river are also useful, as you may be able to use them to make jewelry, or for some other practical purpose. If you see some, you should be on the lookout for other travelers who may have discovered the gems, as they might try to take them to the Golden Druid as well. You will often find very large eggs in the forest. They are often enormous, and it is best not to pick them up. They are able to sense when they are being picked up, and will make a lot of noise. These eggs will hatch into all manner of mystical birds, so it is best to let them be. If you have the ability to communicate with animals, you should try to talk to the turtles, as they may have some good advice for you. There is an area of the forest where you can find merfolk, or water people. They will give you a gift, usually a magical ring or water amulet, if you talk with them. If you have found a water amulet, the merfolk will most likely let you keep it. The water amulet contains powerful magic that lets you communicate with the animals in the riverbanks of the Enchanted Forest. The elves will often come to the riverbanks and relax with the merfolk. The sounds of the river are very relaxing. You can often find a group of elves napping next to the river. If you are lucky enough to find a water amulet, you can communicate with the elves as well. The elves always seem very welcoming. It is difficult to learn special healing spells or medicine magic, but it is easier if you are willing to try. Here you can also find the elven warriors who will help you on your journey through the Enchanted Forest. There is an underwater world inside the river of the Enchanted Forest. You can swim underwater to find many sea creatures. Be careful, as the water contains many plants that are easy to get tangled up in. If you ever get lost in the Enchanted Forest, you can always find help in the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life has many gifts, such as a small sword to defend yourself, magical armor, and a magic harp to make music. If you find this tree, you are more likely to survive your journey through the forest. There are many strange magical animals in the forest, such as the rustling lark, who will sing for you, or the flying fish who will take you to different lands. In the forest, you will never find an animal without an interesting skill. The elves use flowers as currency, and will let you trade with them for your magical items. Flower magic also makes it so that the trees are in bloom during different seasons. This means that regardless of the season, the trees are flowering, and you can always find some fruits that taste good. There is also a fairy castle in the forest, which is inhabited by tiny fairies. If you have the enchanted ring, you can speak with them, and get some help. The elves often talk of strange magical trees that grow up to the sky. These trees are rumored to contain the spirits of powerful witches. These witches are very protective of their valuables. If you ever get lost in the forest, you should always remember the map that you were given by the elves. You can travel the forest via way of a magical bridge made of roots, known as the Spine of Oak. It is important to climb the highest part of the bridge, and to watch your step as you walk across the Spine of Oak. When you want to get back to the surface world, you can take the bridge back to the other side of the river, where it will disappear. The other side of the river is where the elves live. You will be able to get back to your village after you are done exploring. The Tree of Life can give you some useful healing spells and powerful medicinal magic. This is also a good place to find the elven warriors, who are the elves that are willing to help you with your journey through the Enchanted Forest. If you make it to the elf village, you will often find your way to their leader. She is known as the Beautiful Forest Queen. She is friendly, and has great healing magic. She is also the mother of the royal family. and you will often see her giving advice to her daughters, who are both elves. She is also often seen practicing magic in a secret place in the heart of the forest, known as the Heart of the Flower. She is often seen practicing with the magical harp that she keeps next to her side. There are many other secret places that are home to the elves. For example, you can visit the Well of Spring and the Well of Winter. You will find more of these wells on the last page of the magic book. If you ever run into trouble in the Enchanted Forest, you can always speak with the elves. They will give you any magical healing or totems that they have, which can help you on your journey. When you travel in the forest, you will often notice the houses that have been built out of wood. These houses have mystical properties, and help give you healing spells. You can also find a few living things, such as sprites, fairies, and pixies. The Enchanted Forest is truly a wonderful place to go.